The character speaking represents the playwright or is the playwright. It depends on whether or not the venue, in pursuit of securing the stated title above, provides a union contract. And should such a venue choose to do so, said contract must include a health and pension contribution within its provisions. Oh, and also must offer the ability to contribute to one's 401k. And must provide Ricolas at venue's expense. Otherwise, another actor can do it. Note, this memorandum does not apply to universities, particularly where the playwright is pursuing his degree. I first started taking ballet when I was 15 years old. I hated it. I wanted to be an actor, a singer, and I wanted to be able to dance enough. And by dance enough, I really meant I wanted to be able to do everything Gene Kelly did. That was not going to happen without ballet, and I had no clue at the time. It wasn't until my first real dance teacher, Miss Chris, when I was 15 years old, a freshman in high school at the John L. LaFleur High School for Communication and Performing Arts in Mobile, Alabama, told me that if being Gene Kelly was indeed what I wanted, well, then I was going to have to amp up the ballet. Miss Chris also knew that because I was a boy, again in Alabama, where let's just say not many boys danced or felt comfortable to even try to, that I would be able to get a scholarship through the best ballet program the city had to offer, the prestigious Mobile Ballet. They needed any and all boys, regardless of talent or skill level, that they could get. So yet another shining example of male privilege. Like I said, I hated it at first. I had such discomfort when each teacher I studied under would closely examine all aspects of my body and what was wrong with it. I couldn't be bothered with that stuff. Or more to the point, it was really uncomfortable to think about. I just wanted to fly to the music, wanted to color outside my lines, do daring leaps. I had no fear that way. I didn't have the patience. Well, needed to understand that as great as my enthusiasm for physically expressing myself through music was, I still needed to straighten my legs, roll through my feet. I needed balance. I was checked a lot about it, but I never truly, at that time anyway, understood that balance was necessary to ground that, can do, will do, ain't no way I won't do American spirit I had. I actually got pretty good pretty quickly. My determination and work ethic have always been strong. I have and still have something to prove. I could do an average of 5 to 6 pirouettes at the time, and they look pretty good too. But the one thing for the life of me that I could not do was balance on my tiptoes on one leg at the bar during class. We always had the same drill every day after a few exercises at the bar. Pull your knee up to passe, then lift one arm up, then the other arm off the bar, and balance. I always crashed and burned at that moment. Now, in the ballets I performed in, I move with command, energy, musicality, and with enough technique to garner praise, and I certainly welcome that. But if outside that performance, if you saw me at the bar, I look like a beginner. This truth is always enforced in my mind that ultimately I must be some sort of an imposter. Lucky on one hand, blessed with some mild coordination advantage. But most importantly, I was just taken pity by audience members because they could see how much I wanted to be great and they didn't want to disappoint me. Even when feeling such doubt, the world still revolves around you when you're a teenager, or at least it did in my mind. So it has been a few decades since then. I'm a late in life student here. I have more of a sense now that we all, to some degree, feel like we're some sort of an imposter, but it's how we choose to deal with that uncomfortable truth and how we counterbalance it with an equally opposing but necessary, I deserve to be here affirmation that is a large determination of where we end up in life. We need checks and balances, much like our uniquely designed American republic does, if we want to make the changes that we claim we want to make. America was specifically built on this system of checks and balances. Thank you, American Government Politics 101, #MSU. Only problem is, Americans seem to be doing a ton of checking and have pretty much zero interest in balancing. Politicians, citizens alike, are constantly checking each other on how out of step they are. We blame, we block, and we bluster. And in several cases, this is justifiably and necessarily so. But still, where's the balance to all that checking? Where's the grace? Where's the compromise? Instead, it's just, you're canceled, you're a communist, you're a Russian bot, you're trying to steal the election. What happens after that? Where's the thoughtful, uncomfortable debate? Is this even possible now? I mean, I honestly don't know, because it seems quite impossible to try to rationally talk to someone who holds a different perspective outside of my own. Hell, we don't even agree on the same reality, the same facts. So what a cute word that is now, facts. A hard and fast belief held by someone is just, it's a person with allowing no discord, not listening, or allowing any basic humanity. You're just showing complete disregard for another living, breathing person in front of you. It doesn't even matter if you generally align with my political or societal beliefs. If you don't allow space for thinking, listening, discussing without resorting to shutting down or name calling, then there's no talking. It's only talking at. It can all feel existentially fuck. You know, I think more people struggle to lift their arm off the bar and surrender to the inevitable limbo that is balancing than I had previously thought. I committed to practicing yoga daily when the pandemic began. I practice it here in Miami. I love it, and I have the yoga blocks to prove it. I've got way more of a clue now as to the subtleties needed to balance. You know, it requires equal portion force and equal portion surrender. Of course, I can't execute it to the mastering level that I want, and I'm sure I never will, which bugs the crap out of me. But I know now what I need to strive towards, and that the only way to strive towards it is with grace. You know, yoga comes from a Sanskrit word meaning union. Could yoga be a more perfect word to describe our utopian American republic? I mean, it's right there in the friggin' preamble. In order to form a more perfect union, we are, or at least supposed to be, a system of checks and balances. This is yoga. This is force met with surrender. This is yin and yang. This is passion and pragmatism. This is supposed to be what our American foundation is, only right now it's certainly not, and truthfully, it never has been for all. We are a zero-sum culture. Justice is nothing but the interest of the stronger. Thrasymachus, 5th century BC. I discovered that quote this summer from a philosophy book I continue to read. Insert actor's elitist smirk and audience's eye roll here. But that quote truly hit me hard. When I read it, as I realize that has been the one consistent philosophy of America. And that's certainly not what's stated in the preamble. America is me at 16, determined beyond anything to force a narrative. A narrative that I could do anything that I wanted and do it my way, regardless of checks and balances. I forced that narrative on myself and on others. I could shortcut, I could alter, I could charm, it didn't matter. I was 16, I was immature. Thankfully, that wasn't all of me. I was a good kid overall. I still valued other people and their point of view. I still wanted to listen and learn, even though at times that discomfort that would bring inside of me was just awful. But what if I had been, you know, like a jerky kid? I had energy, brains, and a ton of drive to be capable to do practically anything with my indomitable American spirit. That's America. Make your truth the way you want and don't ever surrender. I am grateful I'm not that 16-year-old boy anymore. I appreciate his passion and drive, but I'm grateful he evolved. I hope the same will be true for America someday.